Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Cars and Health Bars. On today's episode, we cover the most recent event at Beach Bend Raceway Park, Nostalgia Nationals, formerly known as Hot Rod Reunion. Also, we get into some of my favorite survival games. Let's jump right into it. Hey guys, future me here. So, the episode you're about to listen to is the first half of a pre-recorded episode that I did with Jordan prior to his vacation. So we said some really nice things about automotive ADHD, and of course I do in my segment. You'll notice a very clear transition after about 2 minutes into the episode that it is another semi-intro into a different episode. It's just simply because I wanted to get Jordan's side of the story on what it was like for him being on automotive ADHD. I didn't want to leave that out because, it'll be old news next week. So I wanted to make sure I got that in. So if it's a little weird, I'm sorry. I just wanted to get Jordan's take in. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So I just want to preface this by saying it's pre-recorded. As of this time, Jordan will probably be out on vacation doing his own thing, hitting sound bites.
Well, you should be, 'cause you are dirt.
Awesome. Well, this is a little bit of a nitty-gritty episode. I do want to plug before we get too far into it. By now, you would have already. By now, it should already be out. But we were on a podcast called the Automotive ADHD podcast. It's broadcasted to Colorado, also on Rumble, YouTube, maybe Spotify. I don't know exactly where it's at, but just look him up wherever you get your podcast, Automotive ADHD, and look for our episode. Please do us a huge solid. Go over to his show, show him some support on our episode. Let him know you're from us to maybe show him that we got the power and maybe get some more collabs going. He was a lot of fun to work with, very professional.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed talking to him.
Yeah, it kind of tickled me too, because a little bit behind the scenes, we were only supposed to shoot, I think, like 2 10-minute segments or something. But whenever we went to break after the first segment, he's like, "Man, that went over a little bit." He's like, "Man, I'm really enjoying this. Why don't we just do 2 15s?" Yeah. And I was like, "Hey, yo, that's awesome." Yeah. I mean, what was it like for you going on that show?
I enjoyed it. I didn't really know what to expect, but he had a really good radio voice. First of all, that was real enjoyable to listen to him.
That's the first thing I told him whenever we got on a phone call together. I was like, "Geez, dude," I was like, "You were born for radio." And he's like, "Yeah, I heard that." I'm like, "Yeah, it doesn't surprise me." Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I was so nervous. I was like, "Man, but." After talking to him, he really makes you feel kind of at home. Like, it kind of feels like his podcast is. It was weird being interviewed though. Like, it was weird.
I liked it.
I did too. It just because normally I'm the one having to kind of generate questions and stuff like that, and think it felt weird being on the other side of the spectrum. But it was like a nice weird. It was like kind of refreshing.
Full fresh air.
Yeah, I'm hoping we could do some more collabs in the future. So if you watch another automotive podcast or, a podcast that you think we could relate to their demographic, let me know, let them know, we can get in contact. It's a lot of fun trying to connect and join audiences with other podcasts for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Some top of the show stuff before we jump right into it. If you're from the Automotive ADHD show, you come to listen to our show, check it out. I want to say thank you so much for checking out our show. We had so much fun being on Matt's podcast. It was a blast. And if you aren't, you definitely should go over to the Automotive ADHD show and check out our episode. It's Matt's most recent episode if you're watching this episode as soon as it comes out. We had a lot of fun. We cover a lot of stuff, and I hope we get the chance to go back on Matt's show. It was a lot of fun. Also, if you're from the Bowling Green Hot Rod Reunion or the Smiths Grove ECHS car show and you're watching, I want to say, again, thank you so much for checking out our show. We don't really sit down and thank the viewers very often, but I want to extend that thanks to you all today. We really appreciate you listening into the show, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it don't disappoint. So, like I said, some top of the show stuff to get out of the way. You'll notice that I'm by myself today. We had pre-recorded a episode to cover today, but we received such a massive boost in viewership after going on Automotive ADHD, as well as the most recent car show, that we really put our names out there. So, and if I'm being brutally honest about our that episode, it was a little sluggish. We literally recorded 2 back to back, so unfortunately, that show was, in my opinion, a little lackluster. We were kind of, we even admitted in the podcast, we're like, man, this is really just a stream at this point. You know, it was a little rough around the edges. I think we're gonna put that episode in the rainy day fund for maybe a sick day or something. But yeah, I wanted to put out something fresh, something new, for you new listeners, to not disappoint. And another thing too. We might have a special guest somewhere in this episode. I might have a pop-in on a most recent TikTok hot take that we posted in our last episode, if you've been keeping up with us. But without further ado, let's jump right into this, man. So being near Bowling Green, Kentucky, I've always heard about Hot Rod Reunion, and how I needed to go to it. You know, like, I go to LS Fest every year. I've been going to LS Fest for probably, like, I don't know, probably 6 years now. Probably a lot longer than that. I've been going for a long time. Ever since I could drive them. Almost. So I guess that would make it closer to, like, 8 years. But I've always heard, man, if you like LS Fest, you are going to love Hot Rod Reunion. And I'm like, yeah, I love the hot rods, don't get me wrong, especially like the 60s and 70s body styles, but I don't know. I don't know what kept me away, if it was the fact that it was like super hot during the Hot Rod Reunion, but I don't know. I buckled down and I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to go. And, you know, it's not that I didn't want to go. It's just I wasn't very motivated to go, I guess, because, you know, I don't know. But, man, I will say I had a blast at Hot Rod Reunion, and I'll agree with people. A lot of people kept telling me it was as big as LS Fest. I will say I don't think that's true, if I'm being brutally honest, because LS Fest, there's way more going on. There's the autocross, there's the drifting. They've even started doing mud and road, like the mud course stuff for like the off-road guys, as well as drag racing. But we went for one day. We were there on Saturday, and really the only thing going on was drag racing, which is fine. I'm not knocking that at all. But for people to say that it's as big as LS Fest, I'll have to contest that, because LS Fest is enormous. Like, I don't know. I will say though, for Hot Rod Reunion, it's like there was a humble amount of people. It wasn't overcrowded like LS Fest typically is. And another thing too, I'll knock LS Fest. There is way too many golf carts at LS Fest. I get it. There's a lot of drag racers there, but if you got a golf cart, you either need to be needing it, like being disabled or old, you know, not being able to get around. Otherwise, you brought your golf cart there to be a pit vehicle. That golf cart should not be running around the car show to save you from walking. Like, if you're able to walk, you need to like get around and walk around. Your golf cart's just getting in the way of everybody else, and it's really frustrating. But I do think LS Fest has started to crack down on that. It seems like they really are trying to keep the pit vehicles in the pit, and I appreciate that a lot. But Hot Rod Reunion, I will say, and I'm a big drag racer at heart. Absolutely, like die hard, I love drag racing. I could watch drag racing all day long. But I don't know. I found myself kind of just like, no, I don't know if I really enjoyed it that much at Hot Rod Reunion, and I'm probably gonna get some hate for that. But it was just mostly like your funny cars, and I was like, what? Like, these funny cars aren't even like, they're not. Yes, they are designed to look like these 60s body style cars. Like, that's what the frame, the outside is supposed to look like, but they're not. They're these funny cars, and I don't know. I just kind of felt it was a little disingenuous. It's like Hot Rod Reunion. I was expecting there to be like these 60 model Camaros making passes, which there were, but it just like, I don't know if it was the weird timing. We watched drag race for like a couple hours, but it mostly just seemed like the funny cars were the main thing, and there was some nice like gassers there, but I don't know. the drag racing wasn't what I thought it was going to be, unfortunately, and I might get some hate for that, and it might have been an off year for them. I don't know. I'm just giving my opinion on what it was like this year for my first experience. With that being said, though, the big highlight for me was the car show. Oh my God, man, there was like car show was so nice, and I'm gonna throw even more hate at LS Fest, and kind of not at the same time, because everybody says, "Oh, I'm not going to LS Fest because I like variety." I get that, but at the same time, yes, there are a lot of GM cars, but there are also a lot of cars that are non-GM swaps, like engine swaps with the LS, and it's very unique to see. But with that being said, they still do have a point. There are a lot of GM cars there, and that's to be expected. They came out with an LS LT, so it's like, why would you not go there? Be like me and Jordan. We got Camaros. We're not like out here showing them because they're nice. We buy our show and shine passes because we're like, hey, we can get a nice parking spot inside the facility because we got an LS. Call it what you want to, but it's our hustle, man. But getting back to my point, what I really liked about Hot Rod Reunion, I keep calling it Hot Rod Reunion. I want to make a point again, like I made in the intro. This is now called Nostalgia Nationals, I'm pretty sure. But I keep calling it Hot Rod Reunion because that's what it's been for years and years and years. I think they did a rebrand recently, either this year or last year. But getting back to my point, the car show was so unique, man. There was no two cars alike. There was like so much variety. Like, oh my gosh, I've never seen so much variety in my life. It was like, you might have like a first gen El Camino over here, and you've got like a 30s model Ford over here, and it's just like there's so much variety, and like it's crazy too because a lot of these old timers, like my uncle included, he's got a super nice first gen Camaro, like no telling how many miles it has on it. It's so fresh and minty. He definitely keeps it in a storage container, and I don't blame him. Like, there's a lot of cars out there that it's like they literally just get them out for this show, like very few shows a year. So it's like it's your opportunity to see these like guys' cars that they're like keeping just to show at these really big shows, and you got to respect that. You got to appreciate that. Now, like some of these guys have cars that are like one of 100, maybe even fewer than that. Yeah, we saw a lot of incredible cars out there. Definitely got the itch for an El Camino out there because I'm already kind of like that style of vehicle is like right up my alley. There was a lot of really nice cars, and even like the bikes. If you're big into bikes, they were there too. Like the old like rat rod bikes, they were there. Not really my alley, but it was nice to see them. I think one of them was like even the first like motorcycle to even race on a drag strip. That was like super unique to see. So if you are from our last video, you saw how we kind of do the bracket style. I really wanted to put the Hot Rod Reunion cars, which I took a few pictures. There's no way I could have got a picture of every single car. There were like hundreds and hundreds, maybe even 1,000 cars there. There was so many cars there. There's no way I was going to get a picture of every car. I took a picture of my favorites for sure, but I wanted to pin them up against the most recent car show that Summer Kimball put on for the soccer team, but it wasn't fathomable. There's just like, I think that's kind of the issue we ran into with our last video is like we took the Cars and Coffee cars and put them up against Modified Worlds Meet, and it's just like, it's not really fair because you've got these cars at Hot Rod Reunion that are literally like one-off cars. Like there's like hardly any left that are in good shape, and it's like you can't put a car like that down. I mean, I definitely could combat some of Jordan's things. I will say I'm more on the drag car side, like especially we kind of had a take with Summer Kimball's car with the Catfish Camaro single turbo with the step side truck in our last episode, and she called us out for it, and rightfully so. I should have gave more pushback. Jordan will definitely die on that hill if that step side was clean, and I don't disagree. But if it was up to me, I'm boost all day long, and I've been wanting a Catfish for a long time. So, but yeah, it just didn't make sense to put those Hot Rod Nationals Hot Rod Reunion cars up against our local car event. It just didn't make sense. That being said, we're either, which we took pictures of every car at Summer's car show. I think we're probably just going to do a solo bracket of that, just kind of to, see what was kind of best in show in the bracket form. We might even do that with the Hot Rod Reunion cars by themselves, but I don't know. There was just like, it's so hard to pick one or the over the other, and I guess that is what makes that format so much fun, is because you never really know what the outcome's going to be. A car that could potentially win could be going against like the car that does win in first round. It's like we're sitting here picking, like, I don't know. It is a fun format. I really love it. It's probably my favorite format that we do, honestly. But if you have any opinions on how we should go about doing those two car events brackets, hit me up on social media and let me know. And also, I want to say, I came across a really nice car just on like a random Facebook meme group that I was looking to put podcast memes in. It was like a Ford Hatch SI or something. I don't know much about the Ford cars, but man, the thing was so clean. I even told the guy, I'm like, I'm true like domestic LS American muscle as it gets, but man, that car is like so clean. That brings me to the point of, should we do an episode where we just pull cars from like, Facebook, Instagram, and rank them? I think that would be a lot of fun, and a lot of way to bring new viewers in is saying, hey, you want to submit your car? You want to be on the podcast? We got you. So I guess kind of what I'm teasing at, if you guys listening, if our listeners are wanting us to do that, we would love to rank your guys' cars. That sounds like an amazing idea. Just doing a whole separate bracket dedicated to our listeners or people on the internet. I would say the best way to get your photo of your car to us, if you want to participate in that, is on our social media. Facebook, Instagram. I'm not sure if TikTok lets you share pictures or not, but yeah, our social's the same as the podcast, at Cars and Health Bars. So yeah, hit us up with your car pictures and some opinions. We leave information about mods or don't. It's kind of fun either way to judge the book by its cover without knowing the modifications, and also kind of theorize, well, if he has this done, that's definitely going to boost him up. That's going to give him this edge that he needs to win this round of the bracket. Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. Get the viewers involved, and definitely, even if you're listening from the last podcast, if your car was in the last podcast, send it back. We'll put it back in. I love it. I love getting everybody involved. It's so much fun to see your car on the podcast and get some more eyes on your build and just get some respect on that. You know what I mean? But yeah, all in all, I really enjoyed Hot Rod Reunion. There was a lot of stuff for sale too. If you're building a hot rod, like, it rear ends for sale, body panels for sale, like, there's a little bit of everything. I didn't see full on blocks for sale, but I'm sure they were there too, because there was a big I don't remember if it was Jegs or Summit booth set up. Didn't really do much walking around. I got like I was saying about it being in June, like the middle of June, I got fried. I brought sunscreen but didn't put it on. What good is that? But I think all in all, we were there for about, I don't know, 4 hours maybe. We didn't stay long because that morning was Summer's car show, so we were getting pretty tired, because we had a Summer's car show we got up early for. We even showed up a little bit late to it. Didn't stay long. We were there long enough to get photos of every car, talk to a few people, a few local guys and gals, and then we moseyed on over to Bowling Green Beach Bend and did that. And it was a long day. On top of, like I said, Jordan being out, he left for his vacation that Monday morning, so it was like he hadn't even packed. It was a very chaotic weekend. And I will say, while we're on the topic of being chaotic, you definitely want to get some friends and yourself on these podcasts this month. We're having our mini series. We have everything for the most part set in stone for July. It's going to be a very, very packed month with episodes. I'm still kind of trying to decide whether I want to do our mini series over the podcast. Like, I'm telling you guys, these mini series episodes are going to be big, especially if you're a local person. There's going to be a lot of local guys that we're going to be interviewing, and I don't really want to spill the beans yet. Try to get some anticipation going, but you guys are not going to be disappointed with some of the guests that we're going to have on, and you're not going to miss it. So if you're not followed to the podcast, you need to follow the podcast. And if there's a way to turn notifications on, you're going to want to put them on, because I will go ahead and tell you for sure, we are launching the mini series on the 4th of July. It's going to be a big 4th of July special. I'm super excited. It's going to be so much fun. So you're not going to want to miss it. So that being said, I'm going to leave a time slot here just in case I have my secret special guest on. If we don't, then I guess you guys got cut short a little bit. So with that being said, let's hop right into the gaming segment. So we're back. Our solo episode, you know the deal. So something that I can talk to Jordan about, but at the same time, it's a little difficult too, because he's not as into the survival games as I am. If I had to brand myself as a favorite genre of game, I think I could definitely be tacked to the survival game genre, because that's what I don't know if it's just like I just get so attached to a game to where I can spill like mindless hours worth of time into. I don't know. It's just like my brain loves it, because typically what I'll do is I'll have my game on my main monitor, doing my survival game, and on my monitor above my main screen, I'll always have like a YouTube video going or a TV series. So I don't know if it's just my brain wanting to consume two types of content, being me gaming and also watching TV, but man, I love it so much. Like, if I could just rattle off some examples, like, of course, we talked about Minecraft. That's something we kind of both get into a lot, but, he's more in it to beat the game really fast. Maybe not even really fast. He's just in it to, like, beat the Ender Dragon, kill the Wither, all that good stuff. And I'm kind of over here like, man, I'm trying to build, like, a freaking ginormous base, or, like, I'm really big into villagers. I'm like, I'm ready to get these villagers going. I'm trying to get us some, like, diamond gear without even having to go in a cave, Ark I've talked about before. I've spent mindless hours on Ark, and it's just like I'm so excited for Ark 2, but at the same time I'm also like trying to prepare myself to receive a gut punch by a wild card. Just ready to kind of be disappointed at the same time, because it just seems like we always get our hopes up and then there's like the wind gets knocked out of us. Yeah, Ark for me, it's just like, it's one of those games where you almost have to speed it up, especially if you're like playing solo. For you to be able to enjoy the game, you have to speed it up. There's no way. If you're sitting here telling me you're playing Ark solo at like normal tame rate, normal XP rate, everything, I'm like, dude, you are insane. Like, yeah, way too much time on your hands, because something like, even a pterodon takes so long to tame. It's almost insane. Like, it should not be right for you to take that long to tame a pterodon. Like, a game that I haven't really talked about is called Green Hell. That game is like so much fun for like no reason at all, and it is so difficult. I'm not gonna lie. I have the game. I've probably put like close to maybe 20 or 30 hours into it. Not a terrible lot, but man, I had to put that game on peaceful. I'm not even going to lie. I might get some hate for that, but it's like that game is so extremely difficult. It has a learning curve that is like impossible. Like, you constantly have to be watching your vitals. You constantly have to be making sure a leech didn't get on you. Like, disease is like crazy. Not only that, but it's just like the environment is constantly fighting you, whether it's the rain, whether it's the predators. That's why I had to turn the difficulty off, because the predators, man, it's like as soon as you get set up in a good spot, you would just get like attacked, and it's just like, what in the world? Why? Why did this happen to me? Why did I deserve this? Yeah, that game fundamentally, it has a lot of things that I like about it. I wish the building was a little bit like, I wish there was more you could do with building on there. They might have updated. I haven't played it in probably like 6 months. But I enjoyed it so much for what it was worth. I really did. Let's see. I tried playing, which we've talked about it before. I tried playing Project Zomboid, but that game too, that's another one of those games where it's like, my God, that game has a learning curve that feels almost impossible to get over. Like, you can't sprint. If you sprint, then it'll attract every zombie in the world. Same with driving. And it seems like every other house has an alarm in it. And you finally get set up, and then a zombie horde runs you out of where you're set up at. I don't know, man. I never got really good at Project Zomboid, and I really enjoyed it too. And I kind of get what people say. It's like Sims but with zombies, but I think the with zombies is very understated because the zombies is a very big issue. But yeah, I get that kind of with the reading, the exercise, all that. I kind of get that. There's a few survival games that you guys just probably wouldn't even have heard of. Castle Miner Z being an example. It's an indie game. It's kind of like Minecraft, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to say it's like Minecraft because it really, especially if you're playing endurance mode, it's this mode where you essentially start in like a grassy biome and your objective is to kill this like undead dragon or whatever. So you're sprinting through all these biomes. First it's grass, then it's sand, and then it's like cliffs, and then it's snow, and then you get to like this, basically they call it Mineral Island, but it's like a biome where it's like nothing but stone on top and like minerals, like you got your iron, your copper, your diamonds, all that. And then after that it's like nothing but like a underworld landscape. There's like fire and lava everywhere, and that's essentially where you fight the dragon at. But like the best strategy is to go underground and travel that way, because there's the mobs and the enemies you encounter in that is like so crazy. Like and if the enemy like touches you, like gets slowed down. There's no way to make armor. Game's pretty hardcore, not gonna lie. Like I've never beat it before. George's convinced that we could beat it pretty easily, but I feel like we gave it a shot not too long ago and it did not go well at all. That game's one of those games where you gotta spill some hours into it, and then like endurance mode is so hardcore. Like if you can't really, like, you can stop and like build a base or whatever, but you can't like stop. You can't exit to main menu and go play something else or nothing like that. You're literally like, you're in it until it's over with. That's where the name comes from, endurance, because you have to endure throughout this period. There's no saving. If everybody in your party dies, you spawn back at spawn, but like if one person is still alive and you die, you're going to respawn on that person with all your stuff in your hotbar and an empty inventory. So it's a lot of fun, and it's honestly slept on. If you and your buddies are just like bored out of your mind one weekend and need something to play, I think a Castle Miner Z 4-pack, like they literally sell the game by the pack. I think like a 4-pack's like maybe, I don't even want to say it's $20. It's like $10 for a 4-pack. It's pretty crazy. I think let me check the store page on here real quick, because there ain't no way. Yeah, a 4-pack for Castle Miner Z is $8. Like, you buy that game for like 4 of your buddies and go have fun on the weekend. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, but that game is insanely fun for what it is, off base value. Van Halen, I've talked about recently. It's just one of those games where I hated it at first, and then I really, really enjoyed it. It's a Viking open world game. I haven't even touched the top of the iceberg on this game. Like, there's so many bosses. I think I've only beat one boss. But it's kind of unique because you have to beat the boss of the area you're in to progress to the next area. So it's like, you set up a base in one area, and then you beat the boss, and then you just move on to the next base, and then build a base up there, and it's kind of unique. And there's like, you can make portals to travel throughout your bases. It's kind of a lot to it for what it is. I really enjoyed the game the second time around playing it by myself. I don't know why I didn't enjoy it the first time, but I guess that's an important lesson to go back and try stuff. If you don't like it, maybe it was just a bad experience. Like, go back and try it again, you know? A survival game that I've been on recently, Sons of the Forest. Me and my wife just beat it. That game was a lot of fun. Like, if you ever played The Forest or watched someone play The Forest 2 is like, oh my gosh, they could not have done better with a sequel. It is so great. There's like so many new features. The building system, oh my god. Like I said, I'm a big builder guy in survival games. God, the building is so much better. You could do so much with building now. It's so fun. I can't get over how much fun the building system is now on Sons of the Forest. Like, I could literally just dedicate a world to nothing but building, honestly. Though I can't talk about survival games without talking about 7 Days to Die. Another one of my personal favorite games, and it's on its newest version too. It's on Alpha 21. if you haven't heard, I did a whole episode covering what was going to be in Alpha 21. I've yet to do a full playthrough. I think me and Jordan got to like day 2 or 3 in our playthrough. But essentially, zombie survival game, very fun. It's been around for a long time. It's kind of hard to believe it's still in alpha, but I guess they're taking their time with it. It's probably a small company. But if you played it before, or maybe... Gosh, I'm tired, sorry. Maybe you've played it before and sat it down, but man, they've changed so much in that game. It's so much more challenging. They took out water, like water bottles and all that, like empty jars, I think is what I'm trying to say, where you can't refill them and then go boil them and drink them. Like, getting water is a lot more complicated now. It's like you got to have a rain catcher, or like I recently found a water purifier helmet attachment. But I've been using it a lot, and it doesn't seem like murky water gives me that much thirst, so I'll have to look into it. I think if you drink murky water, I think the water purifier allows you to drink murky water, but I think there's like something where if you do drink the murky water, it doesn't give you as much hydration, which kind of balances everything out. I would appreciate that, because it's like after you get that water purifier, it's pretty much GG. Like, you don't have to make a dew collector or anything. Like, there's no sense in it, because you just come across so much murky water, it's not even worth wasting your time and trying to set all that up. But I've really I'm ready to get into some 7 days, especially having this weekend coming up. I think there is a car show this weekend, but I don't think I'll be attending. I think I'm just going to be hanging out, probably playing some video games, just kind of doing stuff around the house, But I don't want to ramble on for too long, guys. This is kind of just a short episode. Like I said, Jordan's out of town, so just kind of throwing out a quick show for you guys. Make sure you guys have something to listen to at work or at home. I'm curious if you guys want to let me know. That'd be really neat. Let me know on social media what you think about the podcast and where you listen to it at. Personally, I listen to podcasts at work. Love it. I don't think I could get through my day without listening to a podcast, or I'd probably go nuts. But yeah, guys, I'll go ahead and throw it to an outro. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Hi guys, a little bit more of a laid-back episode for you today. Didn't really mean for it to go that direction, but hey, I'm only as good as my co-host. I'll be glad to have him back next week. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, make sure you leave us a rating, leave us a like, all that good stuff. Follow the podcast, and we will catch you guys next week.